The special meeting is called back to order. Will the secretary please note that all board members are present with the exception of appointed board member Coda. The first item on the agenda is 3B, motion to adjourn executive session. I will move the motion to adjourn executive session. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Perfect. A motion to adjourn has been made by myself and seconded by board member Oliver. On the motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Our next item is item 3D, motion to adjourn the special meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn the special meeting?
Motioned.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to adjourn has been made by Clerk Meyer and seconded by board member Oliver. On the motion, those please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now adjourned. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. The regular meeting is called to order. Will the secretary please note that all board members are present with the exception of appointed board member Coda. Please note that today's meeting is being live streamed. We will also provide Spanish interpreting services available on the side of the room.
Si necesita intérprete en español, favor de mirar a nuestro intérprete que se encuentra a un lado del cuarto. Gracias.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is 1C, Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. We will stand as board member Oliver leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing while a moment of silence is observed. Thank you, everybody. The next item on the agenda is 1D, Land Acknowledgement Statement. Please remain seated as I will read the PXU Land Acknowledgement Statement, and I apologize if I mess up any of the pronunciations. The Phoenix Union High School District is responsible for and committed to creating educational environments that prioritize the achievements of Native American students. We are committed to making their cultural identity visible by acknowledging that our school district resides upon the ancestral lands of the original caretakers, the Huagam, ancestors of the Akimaro Otham, Ankiaro Otham, Tohono Otham, and the Akchin. These sovereign nations are presently known as the Gila River Indian Community, Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community, and Tohono O'odham Nation and Akchin Indian Community. This formal acknowledgement is dedicated to the 22 sovereign nations of Arizona. PXU understands the importance of providing reparations through truth-telling. We recognize the historical injustices not traditionally taught in the classroom and are committed to practices prioritizing Native American knowledge, history, representation, and healing. We commit with an open mind to always respect the land, its histories, and its ancestors. Member Napo will present the art display.
The art department at Alhambra High School proudly presents its artwork display this evening. Alhambra is committed to expanding student creativity, access, and artistic voice. Through collaborative efforts, Alhambra has created meaningful opportunities for students to share their work in larger professional settings, most notably through a new multi-use gallery space that allows students to learn the full exhibition process, from curation to presentation. This work reflects a deep belief in the power of arts to inspire confidence, storytelling, and self-expression. Alhambra's Art Seal students are further extending this impact through community service projects as they work toward earning this distinguished honor. Extracurricular clubs in art and photography ensure that all students can participate in the magic of making art, regardless of background or experience. Alhambra Visual Arts fosters a supportive and inclusive environment that focuses on technical skill development and conceptual understanding. Additionally, Alhambra is piloting initiatives to expand access to art materials beyond the classroom, ensuring that students have the tools, time, and encouragement to create beautiful, meaningful work at any time of day. This program exemplifies how arts education builds not only skilled artists, but engaged creative individuals. Thank you so much, and please take some time this evening to enjoy the amazing talents of the Alhambra High Visual Arts Department.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Napa. The next item on the agenda is 2A, recognitions and accomplishments. Tonight, we are honored to celebrate 3 special recognitions highlighting the outstanding accomplishments of PXU students and staff. Clerk Meyer, please read the first recognition.
Good evening, Phoenix Union community. In honor of Black History Month, we have 2 incredible presentations for you this evening. The first is from Betty Fairfax High School. As you know, Phoenix Union makes every effort to equip our students with the information they need to make the best choice possible for their post-secondary lives. This includes national trips to experience historically Black colleges and universities. In honor of Black History Month, we have McLeet Tades, Alexandria McLean, and Joseph Carroll from the Black Student Union and HBCU clubs to share with the community their experiences attending the Black College Expo in Los Angeles, California last year. Later this month, over 100 students from across the district will take the same trip to experience the rich history and tradition of HBCUs and hopefully find the right fit for them after high school. Before we begin, we want to thank Ms. Sandra Jenkins for her team of incredible teachers and mentors for taking the time to truly give our students every experience possible to help them reach their dreams after graduation. Please welcome our students to the podium.
Good evening, Superintendent Andrade and other governing board members. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. My name is Mekli Tadas, and I'm here representing BSU to reflect on our Los Angeles trip from last year and to share how meaningful that experience was for us. During the LA trip last year, we had the opportunity to attend the Black College Expo, where we were able to learn directly from the HBCU representatives, ask questions about admissions, scholarships, and campus life, and really see ourselves in those spaces. For many of us, this was the first time we could imagine college in a way that felt personal and achievable. They also offered opportunities that went beyond traditional college pathways, including programs for students who wanted to explore education in other ways. It was a space that encouraged growth and exploration to students who needed some reassurance or guidance to their future. Not only did we learn so much about our futures, but we also met so many amazing students of color and developed a strong sense of unity and acceptance. Another thing I want to highlight is the Honda Battle of the Bands. It was a really good experience, and seeing HBCU bands perform at such a high level showed us pride, culture, and tradition. We also saw artists like Glorilla and Nick Cannon, and it showed us how success looked in various ways, and it was just, in general, such a beautiful experience.
Hi, my name is Alexandria McLean. Our first stop during the LA trip was the most impactful part of the trip. It was visiting Charles R. University. Being on the campus to learn about its opportunities regarding health sciences and their focus on serving underserved communities helped many of us see real career possibilities. As for some of us, it was our first time seeing medical classes up close, from the realistic simulation spaces they had to the high-quality skeletal models. It was truly enlightening and encouraging to experience an environment where some of us can explore in the future. During our visit, we ate at a restaurant called Fixin's Soul Kitchen, owned by former NBA player Kevin Johnson. The culture in the restaurant was very lively, from the menu to the decor, but it was also a very warm and welcoming and family-oriented environment. We learned about his journey from professional sports to business ownerships and leaderships. This showed us that education and success doesn't just follow one path, but many. We saw how powerful and uplifting giving back to your community can be up close. This trip exposed us to many different HBCU colleges. It motivated us, educated us, and helped us feel very seen. Along with the HBCU tour we took in the year 2025, visiting many different HBCUs along the East Coast, including Howard, Hampton, and more. We were exposed to different aspects of our culture and history, all while being able to connect with each of our tour guides, making the experience feel so much more meaningful. We also visited the famous African American museums, learned deep history pertaining to each college, and saw Black art like murals fill the streets. We truly appreciated the district's support in making this experience possible. And it's why we are so excited to have more opportunities now that we are seniors and revisiting LA next week. But we also are thankful for Ms. Jenkins, as she opened up many doors for us to explore such. Thank you again for investing in us and supporting our program that allows students like us to feel seen.
Hello, guys. My name is Joseph Carroll, and I just want to say some thank yous. Thank you, Ms. Jenkins, for giving us the opportunities to go on these trips and to be able to learn more about Black history. And thank you, governing board members, to help us really be able to have these experiences. And today I'm going to be talking about my experience on the HBCU trip with my parents and then with Ms. Jenkins. So the first HBCU trip I went on, like tour, was for my sister, and we went down towards the southeast part of the country, where we went to multiple colleges such as Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, and Spelman. And we also went to Xavier and Tuskegee as well. And I just want to say it was a really good opportunity to be able to see those schools, because it helped me learn like there's all type of different schools around the country, and to really learn what kind of schools are on the East Coast as well. And then the New Orleans trip was where we were able to go to New Orleans, and we learned more about history as well. We went to get beignets I was on the beignet shop in the French Quarter. And we as well went to an NBA game to go see the Pelicans versus Cavaliers game. It was a really good experience as well. It was really fun. And then now I'm going to talk about the one trip we went on last year, which was to Baltimore, Maryland, in which, we went to Hampton, Howard, and Morgan State, so on as VVU and Norfolk State as well. And I got one more experience, is when I stayed in the summer at Texas Southern University. I stayed down there for a week. No, you're good. You're good. I stayed on campus for a week. It was a real cool program. Be able to learn, be around people that look like me. It was a really good opportunity, and I learned even more, such through colleges, financial advice, and to be able to just meet people from around the country. And thank you.
Thank you, Macleet Tadas, Alexandra McLean, and Joseph Carroll.
President Pastor Rivera, point of privilege.
Of course.
You got the honor of being on the campus of Texas Southern University. Did you visit the law school? Thurgood Marshall? All right, what did you think? You going? Yes or no? All right. I'm going to talk to you, though. All right, thank you.
Next, we want to welcome some incredibly talented students from the Legacy STEP team. These scholars put in a great deal of time and effort to perfect their craft and honor the rich tradition of STEP in the African American culture. With students from Roosevelt Elementary School District and the academies at South Mountain, they are truly making an impact in building the next generation of Phoenix Union scholars. We want to thank Ms. Nidra Shepard, Ms. Star Goodwin, and Mr. Tyja Walker for giving their time to oversee and support this program of spirited young people. Please join us in welcoming the Legacy STEP team. We're just waiting one moment while we set up.
wanna step with us? Yes! Do you wanna step with us? Yes! I said, do you wanna step with us? Yes! Break it down now. Who are we? Legacy!
So let's give them some air.
Kino Ishizoku.
One, two.
Theoretical or abstract. It is grounded entirely in my own instruction, my own students, and my own impact. It required me to examine every decision I made in the classroom, to analyze evidence of student learning, and to continuously refine my practices. It made me not just a better teacher, but a more intentional, more responsive one. And this personal growth is backed by powerful evidence. More than a decade of research across the country demonstrates that students taught by National Board Certified teachers learn more. In fact, studies show gains equivalent to 1 to 2 additional months of instruction. Students benefit when we bring our very best to the classroom. And here in Phoenix Union, we are not simply participating in this work, we are leading it. Our district has built a strong systemic support structure for National Board candidates, and the results are clear. This year, we celebrate an exceptional achievement. One of our educators not only maintained their certification in one certificate area, but also achieved in another. That level of dedication and expertise is extraordinary, and as far as I know, a first in Phoenix Union. Statewide in 2025, Arizona welcomed 69 new NBCTs, and Phoenix Union is proud to represent 4 of them, or nearly 6% of that statewide total. Another 68 Arizona educators maintained their certification. 5 of those are from here in PXU, and that's over 7% of the statewide group. Because of these accomplishments, Phoenix Union is officially in the top 5 districts in the state for new NBCTs, educators who maintained their certification, and current NBCT candidates. And by the way, those new and maintained were tied for first. Not that anybody's, counting, but we are. This is a tremendous achievement for our educators and for our district. And none of this would be possible without the support of the governing board, our district leadership, and the community of educators in Phoenix Union. Your belief in accomplished teaching and your commitment to elevating our educators is directly impacting student success across Phoenix Union. So tonight, on behalf of our teachers, our students, and our community, I want to say thank you for believing in the transformative power of accomplished teaching. Please continue to invest in this process and the compensation for achieving National Board Certification. When teachers grow, students thrive, and the National Board Certification is one of the most impactful ways to make this happen. Thank you. And
Thank you, Ms. Strong. Please join us as we celebrate Ms. Emily Bogish from Phoenix Coding Academy in Math and New Language, who earned the math for the first time and renewed in New Language. Earning first-time board certification, Ms. Anne Marie Shanahan from Maryville Gifted and Talented Academy in Social Studies. Earning first-time board certification, Ms. Rima Sharma from Central High School in Math. Earning first-time board certification, Ms. Holly Taylor from Alhambra in New Language. Renewing board certification, Mr. Barry Bertollet from Central High School in Art. Renewing board certification, Ms. Amy Hollister from Carl Hayden Community High School in English Language Arts. Renewing board certification, Ms. Lauren Hubert from Camelback High School in Science. And finally, renewing board certification, Ms. Karina Rascon from Maryville High School in English and Language Arts. Congratulations to you, and thank you for all your dedicated service to Phoenix Union.
Congratulations. Our final recognition this evening will be read by Member Cross.
Our final recognition this evening is for an incredible heroic act. If you were here in December, we honored one of our safety team members who courageously saved a life by performing the Heimlich on a choking student. Incredibly, we had another such incident just before winter break at Phoenix Coding Academy. Thankfully, in both instances, our amazing safety staff teams were there. Richard Rubin, safety assistant at Phoenix Coding Academy, quite literally saved the life of the recent Phoenix graduate during lunch at the ATC boot camp on campus. Thanks to his quick and decisive action, he was able to dislodge the obstruction from the person's airway and save them. These heroic acts are seemingly second nature to our safety team members who always appear to be in the right place at the right time. Thank you, Mr. Rubin, for jumping into action. We are grateful for your commitment. I knew I wouldn't be able to finish that sentence.
Before we move on to the next agenda item, I just want to take a point of personal privilege up here and say, in these dark moments and current events, it is always these celebrations that uplift the mood. So I just want to say congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to all the kids, the administrators, the teachers, everybody, the community. It is these celebrations that always bring things better and makes us realize that we are truly stronger together. So with that being said, the next item is 3A, reports from employee organizations. Our representatives reporting tonight are Mr. Esteban Fleming, CTA President. Joining virtually, Ms. Anastasia Jimenez, CEA President. Mrs. Vanessa Casillas, ADA President. Ms. Laura Taylor, PUFI Executive Director. We will begin with Mr. Esteban Fleming.
Oh, new fancy things. All right, love it. Hello, everyone. Good evening, President Pastor Rivera, Superintendent Andrade, governing board members, community and staff here and in attendance, both here and virtually. I am Esteban Fleming, President of the Phoenix Union Classroom Teachers Association, and I stand before you representing our 1,000 members of the certificated staff in PXU. Well, since last month, it has been interesting. And I guess I'm just going to leave it with these two quotes. You are the company that you keep, and when you've made your bed, be prepared to lie in it. None of us in this room are above being held accountable for our words or actions. As the CTA president, when I make a decision, I'm accountable to my 1,000 members. I don't get to hide. I don't get to deflect. I don't get to miss meetings or shrug it off. I have to take what's being done, both the good and the bad of my choices. Since our last board meeting, things have gotten scary for our students, our staff, and our community. Unfortunately, I've had to speak to the media multiple times over the last month about what we are doing as PXU to keep our students safe. I've spoken about how insane it is that the rights of students and staff that are guaranteed under the Constitution can be pushed one way or another, attempted to be trampled because we disagree with a policy. And that those on the other side will celebrate and cheer while deflecting from the hypocrisy of their own statements. Again, you are the company that you keep, you are the messages that you share, you are the words, and your words mean little when viewed against the actions that you take. As we are all public figures, even when we aren't speaking directly for our constituents, they hear our words, they see our actions, and those are our values. So as we navigate these difficult times, let's at least do it with honesty and integrity in whatever you stand for. Do not hide behind false pretenses to justify your decisions. With that said, I want to go into something that's a little more positive. I wanted, one, congratulations to all of our national board teachers. That is an amazing accomplishment, so I want to give them another round of applause. I also would like to recognize for our CTA props this month from the Academy of South Mountain, Miss Samir Rand, a counselor. So she's right here. She gets her lovely award. And let me just read a little bit what her person who nominated her said. I would like to nominate Samir Rand in recognition of her hard work and dedication. She has been a wonderful mentor to me during these first few months at the academies at South. She has shown tremendous patience, motivation, and excellence in her role as IL. I would just like her to know that it does not go unnoticed or underappreciated at all. So with that, if we could all give a big round of applause for Samir Rand, CTA Props recipient for February 2026. You are very welcome, Ms. Rand. As I close, I hope you all take the statements today that will be in public comment from the community with heart to reflect upon. At the same time, with all due respect, please do not take the calls to the public as a sign that you, as a board member, know better than the teams and committees of people here running the district. I appreciate all of your work as volunteers and in your positions. But I will say for myself, in PXU, and in other districts outside, when the work of a committee or a body is undermined through directives, or requests from the dais, or what we feel as thumbs are on the scale, it creates a ripple effect that makes it very hard for people to want to continue to do the work. So please, I understand you'll hear a lot of passionate things today, but recognize that reflect on them, but please let the body do the work, because the work is hard here, and it's really hard when we do the big work, and then it gets undermined or undercut. With that said, CTA is here to do the work with anyone in the district who wants to align with our values. We appreciate you all, and if anyone wants to engage, we're always happy to have a coffee with you. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, Mr. Flemings. Our next presenter is Ms. Anastasia Jimenez, CEA President. Technology. We got to give it a second real quick. Of course. We'll come back to Ms. Anastasia Jimenez. Our next presenter is Mrs. Vanessa Casillas, ADA President.
Bring this way down. Good evening, Superintendent Andrade, President Pastor Rivera, and members of the Governing Board. Before I begin, I want to take a moment to recognize Black History Month and thank the students for the amazing presentations this evening. I also want to acknowledge that this week is National School Counseling Week. I want to sincerely thank our incredible counselors for the work they do every single day, supporting our students academically, emotionally, and socially. Their presence and care make a real difference in the lives of our students, especially during challenging times like these. The last few weeks have been heavy. We have seen multiple walkouts across our district, and while I'm proud of our students for using their voices and standing up for what they believe in, I also carry a deep concern for the safety of our students and the staff in this current climate. Our students don't walk out because they want disruption. They do it because they care, and as adults, as leaders, it's our responsibility to make sure they can express themselves safely, without fear, and with the support of people who are supposed to protect them. What has been especially disheartening is seeing leadership that appears to support or minimize some of the harmful things happening across our nation right now. That disconnect matters. Our students are watching, our staff is watching us, our community is watching us. We need all members of our governing board to clearly and consistently stand with our students, our staff, and our community, especially during moments like this, when fear, tension, and uncertainty are very real for our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Casillas. Our next presenter is Ms. Laura Taylor, PUFE Executive Director.
Okay. I don't want to break it. All right. President Pastor Rivera, members of the board, Superintendent Andrade, it's a pleasure to be here. In just 2 weeks, the Phoenix Union Foundation for Education will be hosting the Community Partner Fundraiser at Corona Ranch and Rodeo Grounds in Laveen. There we go. This year's theme is Under the Western Sky, where community comes together for connection and celebration. There are plenty of opportunities to be social, to peruse the raffle prizes, and buy tickets if you're feeling lucky. We also have some amazing live auction items in addition to the heads or tails game and the wine pull. You won't want to miss the scholarship and the mini grant recipients' testimonials or help recognize our community awards winners. The easiest way to get your tickets is through our website, foundation4education.org. It's the first thing that comes up on the screen. And this event's promised to be a lot of fun and a great way to support the foundation. So I hope you can come to the event. Meanwhile, on the next slide, you'll see that we're in the process of awarding scholarships and mini grants. The scholarship application closed on January 12th. The readers completed their assignments at the end of January, and the selection committees will begin their process tomorrow to make their choices for the recipients for their scholarships by the end of February. Currently, there are 35 mini grant applications that have been submitted. The application doesn't close until next Wednesday, so I'm looking for several more to come in. With the committee review, we will be able to announce those recipients at the end of, or by mid-March. The next slide shows you the dates to save. The Foundation Golf Tournament is scheduled for April 17th at the Grand Canyon University Golf Course. And then the following week, we have our scholarship reception on April 23rd. Then we'll have more information to follow on where that location will be. And you will all be receiving invitations to the reception. And the next slide says, as always, we strive to make it really easy to donate to the foundation. Are there any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Are we able to go back to Ms. Anastasia Jimenez?
Test, test.
We can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, everybody. Good evening, PXU community members, educators, and allies, Superintendent Andrade, President Pastor Rivera, and esteemed governing board members. I want to begin by apologizing for my absence tonight. I'm feeling a bit under the weather and taking some time to recover. So as we all know, the work doesn't pause, and I do appreciate the opportunity to share this report on behalf of CEA. First, I wanted to extend my sincere thanks to Superintendent Andrade and President Pastor Rivera for their recent community messages. Their community messages have helped our staff, students, and families access resources, understand their rights, and find reassurance in a moment that has felt uncertain for many. And I also especially want to uplift our educators here in Phoenix Union and across the nation who continue to protect our children, our students, and our families during these frightening times. And to our students, thank you. You continue to show us what it looks like to envision a future where peacefully truly means peaceful, rooted in humanity, dignity, and care for one another. But none of this comes without courage, and too often these efforts have unfolded alongside moments of fear, intimidation, and in some cases, unjustified acts of violence. To those feeling fear or frustration, I urge you, be brave. Channel that energy into change. Lead in the ways you wish to be led. Each of us has a role in building the community and future our students and families deserve. But for now, as I will be doing, remember to rest. Rest is resistance, and you are worth being here to witness your future and the value of fighting for it. So with that, thank you. Stay vigilant and stay visible and in solidarity. Good night.
Thank you to all of our presenters. The next item on the agenda is for A, call to the public. Tech team, are we able to play the audio?
According to ARS 38-431.01H, at the conclusion of the call to the public, members of the public body may respond to criticism made by those who address the public body, may ask the staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. However, members may not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. We would like to caution members of the audience about commenting on a particular individual and thank you for not referring to any person by name. In order to avoid any concerns with interpretation services, please be aware of the following. We have a Spanish interpreter available to join you at the podium while you address the governing board. Only the PXU assigned interpreter will provide interpretation services. If you have a script on paper or on a device, we ask that you make it available for the interpreter. In order to provide accurate interpreting, we ask that you speak for approximately 2 to 3 sentences at a time and pause for interpreting. You will be given double the amount of time to address the governing board as a result. As usual, we ask that you end your comments when your official time allotment has ended.
Para evitar dificultades con los servicios de intérprete, tenga en cuenta lo siguiente. Tenemos un intérprete de español disponible para acompañarlo mientras se dirige a la mesa directiva. Solo el intérprete asignado por el distrito proveerá servicios de interpretación. Si tiene su mensaje en papel o electrónicamente, le pedimos que lo ponga a disposición del intérprete. Para brindar una interpretación precisa, le pedimos que hable aproximadamente de 2 a 3 oraciones a la vez y haga una pausa para el intérprete. Como resultado, se le dará el doble del tiempo para dirigirse a la mesa directiva. Como de costumbre, le pedimos que finalice sus comentarios cuando termine su tiempo asignado. Gracias por su cooperación.
Presentations tonight are limited to a maximum of 2 minutes. Tonight, we have the option for members of the public to participate in person and virtually. We will start with our speakers who registered online. So first up, we have 4 speakers online, and the first one is Petra Schmidt-Riggins. Petra, are you on? Okay, you can start. You are unmuted.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Good evening, members of the governing board. My name is Dr. Schmidt-Riggins, educator of PXU. As we implement the newly revised gradebook, I would like to advocate for providing clear, accessible training resources for all staff, specifically a step-by-step visual guide and short recorded trainings that employees can revisit independently. This approach ensures equitable access to information. It supports staff who may be on leave, those hired mid-year, and colleagues who are less comfortable with technology. These resources allow staff to learn at their own pace and return to the materials as needed. Most importantly, it demonstrates our commitment to inclusive practices that support all employees. Thank you for your kind consideration.
Thank you. Next, we have Michelle Delgado, followed up by Wayne Crooms. Michelle, are you on? You're unmuted. Michelle, can you start speaking now? Okay, Michelle, we'll come back to you and we'll start with Wayne. Wayne, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you may start speaking.
I am Pastor W.A. Crooms. I am both a resident and product of the Phoenix Union High School District. I care about this district because I care about the students and the staff who serve them. Recently, a member of the Phoenix Union High School District Governing Board was photographed attending a political event tied to groups with documented connections to white supremacists and neo-Nazi ideology. This is fact and has been widely reported. The person who attended this event has consistently pushed an extreme right-wing agenda that is out of touch with our district and our community. As you know, school board members are not private actors. They set the tone for school culture, safety, and trust. Our students do not report to school in a vacuum. They notice who leaders associate with. When a school board member appears comfortable around extreme ideology, it raises real concerns for families whose children have historically been targeted by these movements. Public trust and confidence are essential to the education of our children. In closing, for the good of the district and its students, the person who attended the white supremacist event should resign immediately. Today, we are a diverse, welcoming, and innovative school district where opportunity, love, and inspiration are available to all. We need leadership which reflects that spirit. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle, are you online? Michelle Delgado? Can you please unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes. You may start
Okay,
speaking.
perfect. My name is Dr. Michelle Delgado, and I'm an assistant principal in the district. I am here before you not just as a concerned citizen, but as a passionate advocate for a remarkable individual, my dear friend Irene Diaz. I ask that the governing board look at why she was passed over for a job that she recently applied for and was told that she did not get the position. I ask that you confront the injustice and the unrighteousness of these hiring practices. For 26 years, she has served in the district, a testament to her unwavering commitment to our students and community, but her journey began far from here as a migrant farm worker picking onions alongside her family. With sheer determination and a thirst for education, she broke the chains of poverty, transforming her life and in turn the lives of countless students and staff. Recently, she applied for a position in this district, a role that she is more than qualified for, but yet she was passed over not for a lack of skill or dedication, but for the familiar cycle of favoritism that has plagued our district for years. I ask you, how many more qualified candidates like her must be overlooked? How many talented individuals must be cast aside while cronies are handed positions on silver platters? Her impact on the schools, on our schools, is profound. She has been instrumental in eliminating gang violence, transforming our campuses into safe havens where students can thrive. It was her interventions that changed everything. She built relationships, she fostered understanding, and made our schools safer for all. Law enforcement personnel actively seek her guidance, recognize her invaluable insight because her voice carries weight and respect, and yet our school district has discarded her. It is time to confront these unjust and unrighteous practices head on. She deserves the opportunity to serve in this district, not because of her qualifications, but because of her unwavering dedication to our students and her proven ability to bring about real change. It is time we ensure fairness, equity, and justice in our hiring practices. Let us not silence those who have fought so hard to uplift our community. I implore each of you to advocate for her and others like her. Together, let's build a district that values merit over connection.
Thank you. Next, we have our last online speaker, Dana Juarez. Dana, you're unmuted.
Hi.
Okay, we can hear you. You may start. You muted yourself. Can you unmute?
There you go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hello, my name is Ana Juarez, and I'm a student at Wilson College Prep. I want to start off by saying thank you to the members of the board for listening to the students and for taking our concerns seriously. Your leadership has shown that our voices truly matter. I want to start off by saying that I support the climate action resolution because it feels like someone is finally listening to what students go through every day. What makes this even more meaningful is that this place comes from students that were supported by the board. It shows that our voices matter and change is possible when people work together. Thank you.
Okay. Is that it? Thank you so much. Now we'll move on to our in-person speakers. First up for in-person, we have Marina Castrejon, and then followed up by Marisol Guerra. Mariana.
Good evening, President, members of the Governing Board, and Superintendent Andrade. We are student officers for HOSA at South Mountain High School and our CT Pharmacy program. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. Before I continue, I would like to take a moment to sincerely thank our CTE Director, Melissa Jackson, and her team for their support and continued dedication to our program. Their commitment to CTE has allowed programs like ours to grow, thrive, and provide meaningful opportunities that prepare students for successful careers after graduation. Our program alone has expanded from just 6 students to more than 90 today. We are truly grateful for their support and ongoing commitment to our success. HOST is a leadership organization that works hand in hand with our CTE pharmacy program to prepare students for real careers in healthcare. Through hands-on competitions, leadership conferences, and service projects, students are able to apply what we learn in our pharmacy classes to real-world healthcare scenarios. These experiences help us build critical thinking skills, professionalism, and confidence before entering the workforce. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Marisol Guerra.
Good evening. In addition, HOSA gives us the opportunity to explore many different healthcare careers beyond pharmacy. Through competitions and events, we learn about fields such as nursing, medical assisting, emergency medicine, veterinary care, public health, sports medicine, and many more. This helps us gain a clearer understanding of our interests and strengths so we can make informed decisions about our next path after high school. As a HOSA officer, I have learned how to lead a team, communicate professionally, and represent my school. These leadership skills are essential in healthcare where collaboration, accountability, and clear communication directly impact patient safety. HOSA helps students practice these skills in meaningful ways. HOSA also emphasizes community service and health awareness. Our chapter has participated in projects that promote public health, medication safety, and wellness education this year. These activities allow us to serve our community while learning the responsibility that comes with a career in healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, Michelle Pedrosa for, thank you.
On the last note, HOSA provides valuable networking opportunities. Students connect with healthcare professionals, educators, and peers who share similar career goals. These connections help us make better decisions about college certification programs and future careers, while motivating us to stay engaged in school. Healthcare is a growing and essential workforce need. The combination of CTE, pharmacy, and HOSA prepares students with both technical knowledge and leadership skills that employers value. Continued support for our HOSA program ensures students remain career ready and prepared to represent our district with excellence. As the CTE Awareness Month officers, we are proud to represent South Mountain High School CTE Pharmacy HOSA this evening. Thank you again, Governing Board, our district leaders, and Ms. Jackson for your continued support of student leadership, career-focused programs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Up next, we have Michelle Elizalde, and afterwards, Amy Hollister.
Good evening. I'm here to speak about what happened to students at Franklin after a peaceful walkout to protest ICE and stand up for their families and communities. Following this protest, students were academically punished in some classes. They were denied makeup, work, and saw drastic grade drops, in some cases from A to a D, despite their academic performance not changing. PXU policy clearly states that grades must reflect mastery of content, not to be used as punishment, and penalizing students for a peaceful protest raises serious First Amendment concerns around free speech and assembly. This retaliation is especially harmful in CTE and dual enrollment classes, where grades affect college credit, certificates, and students' futures. Franklin serves many minority students who already live with fear and stress, particularly those parents targeted by ICE. And instead of support, they feel silenced, disrespected, and unsafe, damaging trust between students and educators. We are asking PXU to step in, hold the administrations accountable to equitable practices across the campus, restore grades to reflect academic work, not politics, and ensure students' rights are protected district-wide so no student is punished for using their voice and that students feel supported, not judged, or punished for speaking up or doing what others cannot. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Amy Hollister is next, followed by Christina Torrado.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I've never done it before. Okay, good evening. I have been a proud educator at Phoenix Union for 17 years. PXU is a progressive district full of diverse staff and students that embraces our heterogeneity. It is a source of strength and inspiration. A board member stands in direct contrast to PXU values. He was appointed rather than elected, so it is no surprise that the vast majority of his beliefs are not in line with our families, staff, nor our students. As has been widely reported, he attended an event with known neo-Nazi sympathizers. This is inexcusable. Many of our students are frightened for their friends and family, if not for themselves too. Recently, a student in my 8th hour started crying when she heard that ICE officials were at the nearby park. She was scared for her mom, who was supposed to pick her up. Luckily, she was able to call her mom and arrange for a friend to take her home. That should not have happened, and it never has before, not even under SB 1070. Any crying in the classroom should be due to laughter, not potentially losing your mom simply because she came to pick you up from school. School should be a refuge and a place of safety. It should not be another place of fear and mistrust. School board members represent the district, the schools, and the community. While they are people too, they must be held to a higher standard. They should be people of similar values that students can look up to and learn from. Rather than marching back to a dark racist past, we should be striving forward to a bright, inclusive future. He must resign.
Thank you. Up next is Christina Torrado, followed by Kristen Roberts.
Good evening. My name is Christina Torrado, and I am a teacher, a parent, and a proud graduate of Phoenix Union. This year, a member of the school board, who was appointed rather than elected, has repeatedly disrupted progress in order to advance a self-serving, extremist right-wing agenda. While board members are entitled to their own political views, this individual's behavior has crossed the line from disruptive to dangerous. This member of the Phoenix Union High School District Governing Board was photographed attending a political event linked to groups with documented ties to white supremacists and neo-Nazi ideology. This information has been publicly reported and is not speculation. At the same time, this individual has continued to push an extreme agenda that is fundamentally out of step with the values of our community. These actions demonstrate a clear lack of commitment to the district's best interest and instead reflect personal political motivations. School board members are not private actors. Their conduct directly shapes school culture, safety, and public trust. Students and families notice who our leaders associate with and what behavior is tolerated. When a board member appears comfortable engaging with extremist ideology, it raises serious concerns, particularly for families whose children have historically been targeted by such movements, and undermines the trust that effective school governance requires. Phoenix Union prides itself on being diverse, welcoming, and centered on opportunity for all students. We even proudly say, this is who we are. When our leadership associates with white supremacist political events, it sends a very different message to our students. This is who we really are. For the good of the district and its students, the board member who attended the white supremacist linked event should resign so our schools can remain places of belonging, safety, and respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Kristen Roberts, followed by Natasha Chavez.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Roberts, and I am a proud teacher at Carl Hayden Community High School. And at our school, we like to remind each other that community is our middle name. To me, that means that our diversity is one of our greatest strengths, and it means that we all do better when we celebrate each other's unique strengths and identities. So I have to say, I was incredibly dismayed to read the recent headlines that an appointed, not elected, member of the school board attended an event hosted by a group known to be associated with white supremacists and neo-Nazis. Since this board member was not elected to the seat, he was appointed by the county superintendent due to a vacancy. He's never really done the work to win the trust of the community. And after all of this, I just don't see how that is possible. And I truly believe that our students, families, and staff deserve so much better. So I also respectfully ask for this board member to resign. Right now, more than ever, we are facing several very serious challenges that demand trustworthy and values-driven leadership. And I'd like to use the remainder of my time to focus on one of those challenges, and that is the situation with ICE. As you heard, many of our students and families are very afraid, and I do applaud the district for the steps already taken. The video on social media, it was a great start, and I would love to see us play that in advisory so that all of our students can understand their constitutional rights. In addition, Tucson, I don't know if you heard this, Tucson schools recently ordered several of these Know Your Rights cards to hand out, and I think that would be a great step for us as well. While one board member's inexcusable actions do need to be called out, we also have real work to support our students and community, so let's keep working together for the benefit of our community.
Thank you. Up next is Natasha Chavez, followed by Teresa Arivizu.
Hello, board members. Surprisingly or not, for some of you who do know me, public speaking is not the easiest thing for me. I am here as a parent of a Phoenix Union High School student. I am also a graduate of Phoenix Union High School myself. My father also was a teacher in this district. So Phoenix Union High School is something near and dear to me. And I pride our district on being a school of a district of inclusion. There are a certain board member that does not represent those values of inclusion and diversity. We have seen that by actions on social media and also actions portrayed by events they have attended. My personal ask is I'm asking for them to step down. I also would like to briefly read comments of a parent who is not here themselves. So I will make this brief. This board member does not reflect these values of Phoenix Union. My concerns were first sparked when I witnessed his refusal to provide the traditional land acknowledgement during a school board meeting, and insisted on opting to recite a religious text. He may, of course, practice a religion on his own, but is not part of his appointment to this position. I'm going to skip down to make it quick. Most recently, his attendance at a holiday party sponsored by a far-right organization confirmed that he should not be advising on student matters nor their education. A picture of him happily posting with Roger Stone. This is why I'm in a firm belief that he should resign. So this is statements from myself and multiple people believing that he should not be in office. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Up next is Ricardo. Oh, wait. Is that Teresa? Oh, wait. Teresa's up next. Up next after that is Ricardo.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Teresa Arvizu, and I'm an educator at North High School and a community member residing in Ward 4. I'm an Indigenous person representing Tonatiuh's Nahuatl Educators Alliance and a member of the Escaloteca community. As a member of the PXU community for nearly 18 years, I have developed a professional relationship with my colleagues and have also come to understand my own experiences within the educational system. In working with curriculum development, I've had to acknowledge educational traumas myself and many from my community and generation faced in school. We struggle within a system that was never meant for us to be successful. In this, we could see positive change in PXU in this regard. However, we again are facing similar dangers to our educational system, which are influenced by MAGA and MAGA-like thinking that believe that there is no place for someone like me, someone like my students. When MAGA hats are worn in our boardroom, I'm being told I do not belong here. My students are being told they do not belong here. When a board member boasts online of attending a political event tied to groups with documented connections to white supremacists and neo-Nazi ideology, I am being told I do not belong here. My students are being told they do not belong here. We're asking the board and the PXU community to recognize our populations of students as Indigenous peoples with the rights granted by the international agreements within the United Nations in the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Violations to these rights are under Article 2, 3, 36, including 14.2, 14.2, which states, Indigenous individuals have the right to all levels and forms of education of the state without discrimination. Based on the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the Nahuatl Educators Alliance asks the PXU students to be granted all the rights that this declaration proclaims. We ask board members to uphold these rights, and as said board members, egregious actions and words are in violation of these rights. We call for said board member to recognize this is not what we stand for. Therefore, we ask the board members for the board members' recognition. That's the
Thank you. Up next, Ricardo Arenas, followed by Raquel Enriquez.
My name is Ricardo Arenas. When I was a boy, I was an Eagle at Percy L. Julian. When I was a teen, I was a Jaguar at South Mountain. When I was young, I was a Cougar at SMCC, then a Sun Devil at ASU. For the last 13 years, I have been honored to call myself a Knight at Metro Tech. I am the product of this district and its teachers, along with the combined effort of my family and community. I was born and raised in South Phoenix, under the shadow of South Mountain, at the corner of 19th Ave Southern. This is where my family and my home are, and it is their defense that I now speak for. I speak to the gross misconduct of a board member, one who received no vote from anyone in Ward 1, yet has a seat here among us. A board member who thumbs their nose at our district's history, norms, and partnerships. They dare fraternize with a convicted felon at an event hosted by a group that has documented ties to neo-Nazis. They seek to politicize and position themselves as an ideologue, catering to an outside extremist audience rather than representing the community and families that call Ward 1 home. This board member does not hold our values sacred. They do not uphold our mission to prepare every student for success in college, career, and life. The temerity they hold to speak of safety in our schools, given the company they keep, would be laughable if it were not so sad. To quote this board member, while I'll always encourage people.
Thank you. Your time is up. Up next is Raquel Enrique, followed by Marietta Morales.
Kwali Yoali, Superintendent Andrade, and accompanying board members. No toca Raquel Enrique ni Tamachtiani Alhambra High School. Mi nombre es Raquel Enrique, soy maestra de la preparatoria Alhambra High School. My name is Raquel Enrique, I work at Alhambra High School. I'm hearing regarding the official statement made declaring all PXU campuses as safe zones, and the concern that I have as I pause to question if this is the consensus and the mindset of every sitting board member of this district. As an educator working within one of the safe zones, I have a responsibility to my students and to my community. The manner in which I carry myself, how I communicate, how I act, and who I surround myself with matters deeply. It matters because it directly impacts my students' sense of trust and safety. It determines whether my students feel secure around my presence, knowing that they can trust me to support them and keep them safe. Growing up, I would hear my family say, "Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres." Tell me who you surround yourself with, and I will let you know who you are. A member of the Phoenix Union High School District Governing Board was photographed attending a political event tied to groups with documented connections to white supremacist and neo-Nazi ideology. This is not speculation, it has been publicly reported. These actions go against what PXU District, our diverse population, and great community stand for. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. For reasons stated above, I call for the accountability and the resignation of Jeremiah Cota.
Thank you. Up next is Raquel Enrique, followed by Mariela Morales. Oh, wait. Mariela, my bad. Mariela, how do you pronounce your name?
Perfect. Marietta, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, perfect,
Marietta.
yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you, board members and everyone in attendance at today's meeting. My name is Marietta Morales, and I'm a teacher at Trevor Brown who has taught in the community for over 20 years. This has allowed me to appreciate the rich culture and diversity of our students and staff. I am here because I'm concerned about people in leadership who serve the Phoenix Union community and have made headlines in the media due to affiliating with neo-Nazi ideologies for promoting division and for clinging to myopic thinking. A person in a leadership position who does not support the diverse backgrounds, complex history, and varied and beautiful culture of our students should resign. Anything else would send a terrible message to our students that they do not matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Up next is Erwin Henderson, followed by Giselle Montellano Sarens. Sorry, the writing.
You ready for me? Ooh. Good evening, members of the board, PXU staff, students, and community members. My name is Erin Henderson, and I am a proud teacher at Alhambra High School. I originally came this evening just to recognize my friend who is being recognized as a nationally board certified teacher, and they have put so much work into it. So again, shout out to all of the nationally board certified teachers. Yes, I give up a couple seconds for that. However, on Monday morning, we received an email that prompted me to speak to you tonight. The email was announcing that it's National School Counselors Week, which is really exciting, but if you aren't aware, we have some school counselors in our district whose fate is really hanging in the balance right now. Part of the agenda this evening is approving specific names of people who are losing their jobs at the end of the year. However, there are names missing, the names of the identified counselors from our campuses. Unfortunately, those people still don't know who they are. They don't know that they've been riffed. I have two concerns about this to voice to you quickly this evening. My first is that only counselors at 4 campuses are being riffed. If English teachers were being riffed across the district, we would all be put in one big pile, and the ones at the very bottom would be the ones that were let go. The counselors aren't afforded that same opportunity. They are being riffed specifically from their campuses. My second concern, though, is with an email that we received yesterday afternoon, ensuring PXU talent ensured that we are using transparency, consistency, and we are supporting all of the employees. From what I understand, the counselors are being told tomorrow at some point that they are losing their jobs and their incomes. I could stand here tonight and argue how poorly I think this has been handled, but instead I would rather just give a shout out to our school counselors who probably are not feeling very appreciated this week, but really deserve all the appreciation in the world because of the magnitude of needs that they meet for all of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Giselle Montellano Sanres? Yeah, Signs, followed by Jean Castine.
Good evening, Superintendent, President, Governing Board, and community. Thank you for hearing me tonight. I'm Giselle Montellano. I teach at Metro Tech High School. I appreciate the effort to keep positions intact, but I need to say that the salary freeze plus the higher insurance costs really feels like a pay cut for a lot of us. Putting more into insurance and getting no step or stipend means less money left for rent, childcare, or groceries. I've seen colleagues struggle. One teacher I work with had to pick up extra shifts just to cover the new premiums. I myself have had to cover a lot of medical expenses for my significant other on disability, and these are just a few examples of some of the hardship we already have. Let's not forget those whose spouse or children are included in their insurance plan. Imagine the amount coming out of their paycheck compared to the single household employee. I'm asking you to consider a smaller targeted fix instead of a full freeze. Maybe give a small one-time retention payment for critical roles or help cover some of the insurance increase for lower paid employees. Decisions have been made without input from the most affected. I ask that you share the budget details and talk with staff before finalizing this. I'm happy to help find practical options that protect jobs, but also recognize how this is hurting people. Thanks for listening. I hope we can find a fair path forward for our students and staff.
Thank you. Up next, Janine Castine, followed by Ms. Nidra Shepard.
Good evening, Governing Board President, members, cabinet members, and guests. My name is Jeannie Castine, and I'm a former North High School teacher, go Mustangs, and my daughter and stepdaughter both attended PXU. I'm here tonight because I believe that the people one keeps company with is a reflection of their character. We're really seeing a lot of that in the news lately. Less than 2 months ago, an appointed Phoenix Union board member attended an event hosted by the Republicans for National Review. This is a white nationalist organization founded by Shane Trejo and aligned with self-proclaimed fan of Hitler and virgin Nick Fuentes. Both have ties to white supremacist and neo-Nazi groups. At their holiday party, that this board member attended, Roger Stone was also in attendance. This board member posted proudly a photo with Mr. Stone. Just want to remind folks that Mr. Stone helped elect a close personal friend of Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, to the presidency of the United States. Mr. Stone is also known for using racist and homophobic slurs to the point that the website formerly known as Twitter permanently suspended his account. The new owner of X and old buddy of Jeffrey Epstein, Elon Musk, of course reinstated the homophobe and racist Mr. Stone before turning his website X into an AI child pornography website. This member has also worked for some pretty prominent Christian nationalist elected officials, including Andy Biggs, frequent traveler to Epstein Island. I could question why a micro school operator even wants to be on a public school board, and I could speculate based on who he hangs around with, why he has made K-12 education his most recent focus, but I'll just stick with facts. Your actions, your words, and the company that you keep matter. These are lessons I taught my children and students repeatedly, and the students of Phoenix Union deserve a better role model than this board member.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Castine. Also, you're my sister's teacher, Ms. Castine. I had family members that had you as a teacher. Up next, Ms. Nidra Shepard, followed by Mark Shields.
Good evening, Nidra Shepard. Good evening to the board president, superintendent, community, and the rest of the board members. I just feel that I shouldn't have to say that with my 2 minutes clicking. Anyway, happy Black History Month. We're celebrating 100 years of the celebration, and thank you for the opportunity to showcase the talents of our students. Why do we promote this thing? Because we need to understand and appreciate the achievements that have been done by people of color. Speaking of achievements, I hope that the names of the people on the RIF list is given the consideration of appreciating the loyalty and commitment of 20 years, 26 years, 29 years that has afforded this district. I am still disappointed with the selection of one department of APs, the safety positions. However, I do see a new parking structure in the making. I want this board and community to know that I am pleased with the course of the Black history in some schools. I tried more than 30 years ago to a committee of 3 Anglo females, 1 Anglo male, 1 Black male, and me, to a resounding, no, not ready yet. So it pleases me to see that after 50 years, how far we have come. Maybe the next necessary can come in, 25 years? Oh, by the way, there's a group of individuals who feel that politics and affinity groups have no place in education. I beg to differ because as a taxpaying citizen in this district, my needs are different and I deserve to be heard. I hope you receive all the strength and courage you need to do what's right and not what's popular. As my good friend James Brown said, we don't want nobody to give us nothing. Open up the door and we'll get it ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, Mark Shields, followed by Fernando Sanchez.
Hi there. Thank you. I have a stepson that attends Central High School, and my partner is a third-generation graduate from Central as well, and I cannot believe that I have to be here to address this today. Just yesterday, I read that one of the Phoenix Union board members proudly posted on his own social media a picture of him at a Christmas party hosted by a group with white supremacist and neo-Nazi ideology. This is not hyperbole. Please Google Republicans for National Renewal, Blood and Soil, a phrase which I learned in my schooling. Seriously, you don't have to dig deep to see what they believe, and I am not using any vocabulary today flippantly or lightly. I thought that we as a society had agreed that Nazis are bad. Now, it is a board member's First Amendment right to be affiliated with Nazi ideologies if he wishes, but do we want to allow that influence our kids' education? Imagine if you found out that one of your students' teachers was a neo-Al-Qaeda or was an actual in-hiding Nazi that escaped Nuremberg. This is no different, and that's why I'm here. Our kids deserve better. And I'm tired of tolerating and excusing these small-minded, hateful, and dangerous ideologies. This member's affiliations do not align with the diversity that I see in this room, nor what we want our kids' educations to be, and this should not be tolerated, full stop. And as an aside, the general population is embarrassed for people like this board member. Not surprising, he's cowered out from being present tonight, keeping company with ideologies fueled only by hate, supremacy, dog whistles, and lowercase d energy. We all see you and know that you're shameful. Imagine a board member cheering on his own students and families getting kidnapped by the state. This is dumb. I ask for this board member's resignation today. And if not that, then moving forward, that he be greeted by everyone with his preferred salute. Thank you.
Thank you. Fernando Sanchez, you're up next, followed by our last speaker of the night, Eden Wingett.
This is new. All right. It's fancy. You guys get the fancy stuff in this building. All right, you guys. Tonight, I just wanted to follow up and kind of expand on what I shared last month about when to kind of differentiate the data about the academies, because even though we're a traditional school, we are 4 academies within one campus, and it would be really great if we could see data as it pertains per academy when it aligns to the board goals. And I don't know if I made sense last month when I shared that, but I kind of went back and I want to kind of expand more on it. So where I would like to see that data is in the June meeting where you guys present, so like how last June, remember how they presented the preliminary data outcomes? Well, okay. So, Board Member Meyer, since you're all about data, I'll use Maryville as an example today. Okay. So when they were presenting the data on board goal 5 on the attendance rate, so they used Bostrom, Linda Brill, Maryville, and Wilson. My only question about that is that, like South, the academies, it's multiple schools within one. Maryville also has the Gifted and Talented Academy within it, and I was wondering, where do we get the data for that school, even though it's a micro school? But then also, like in the same presentation, when they listed the data on all the schools, none of the micro schools were listed. So I was wondering the rationale behind not informing us about the micro schools. That was kind of my thing. I would probably share more tomorrow at the listening session, but so thank you for sending one up. I look forward to being there, and I agree with my colleagues and community members when they say that, the white supremacists should quit. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And now our last speaker, Eden Wingett.
Good evening. Oh. Jeez. All right. I am a graduate of Camelback High School. Yeah. And usually proud to say that I came out of Phoenix Union High School with a diverse student body and varied perspectives, which was one of the best parts of my education. And it really helped me as I made my way through the world. When you have someone on your board with extreme views, and we covered that, It creates a hostile atmosphere that breeds fear, which is antithetical to learning. What does Phoenix Union High School stand for? I see signs that say love and this is who we are. What do you value? The cover of my senior yearbook says, "We don't mess around." And Phoenix Union High School shouldn't now. There's no room for hate. Demand that any school board member supporting extremist views resign. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our tonight's call to the public.
All right, we will take a 10-minute break. Guests, just a quick reminder during breaks, as a safety protocol, please refrain from approaching the dais. Thank you for your cooperation.
Board President, could we have some follow-up on the public comment?
We'll do that later.
Afterwards? Okay.
Members, please report back to the dais. All board members, please report back to the dais. All board members, please report back. Let's call the meeting to order. When you become president.
After she broke the glass.
Yeah. I'm gonna get
Like the old school one.
Thank you, all board members, for reporting back to the dais so we can continue moving forward. At this moment, before we move on to the next agenda item, I would like to give the opportunity for you guys to respond to public comment. Clerk Meyer.
Okay, thank you, President Pastor Rivera. I wanted to follow up on, or exploring clarity on micro schools versus academies and how that can be accounted for in their data within the SOFG model. And then looking at the Know Your Rights videos, playing that during advisory, and then more context on the students that were punished for the walkouts and how that coincides with board policies.
Thank you, Clerk Meyer. Actually, you definitely said one of my points I wanted to instruct the superintendent was to play the Know Your Rights video in advisory. But I also want to take a point of personal privilege to tell the community that we do, in fact, have the Know Your Right cards. We are moving into the accessibility of mass printing and distribution. So we have the cards. Thank you. Board Member Cross.
Definitely wanted to look at students being penalized for going out on their walks. That's number one. I like to look at the micro schools being looked at and numbers. And last but not least, I know the grade book is still hanging over people's heads. I like the idea of the training tapes. Can we look into that?
Any other board members? Going once, going twice. Let's continue moving forward. The next item is 5A, approval of consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. A motion to approve the consent agenda as presented has been made by Board Member Oliver and seconded by Board Member Cross. Is there any discussion? All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You become president, you kind of get the gavel, you know? The next item is 6A, Superintendent's Report. Ms. Andrade, please provide your report at this time. Sorry, I'm stuttering. You got me too excited up here.
All right. Good evening, President Pastor Rivera, Governing Board, and community. I want to start my report tonight by honoring the amazing young people who presented and performed for us this evening in honor of Black History Month. This month provides all of us the opportunity to reflect on the beautiful culture and the rich traditions of the Black community and the countless contributions they have made in our district as employees and scholars. One example of a celebration will take place tomorrow at Betty Fairfax High School, where the HBCU and BSU clubs will kick off the celebration with African drummers during both lunches. Another example will be at the end of the month with the Taste of Soul, sponsored by Ms. Nidra Shepard, on February 26th at Linda Abril. These are just a few examples of the many cultural celebrations that will take place throughout the month of February, and I want to sincerely thank all the staff who work so hard to make sure our students and staff feel seen and heard with respect to their cultural heritage. Next up is another celebration in February. It's CTE month. In Phoenix Union, we're proud to offer 6 career and technical ed clusters and 34 pathways for our students. As you can see on the screen, we have 2 students highlighted to show the power of CTE in action. Brisa Esparza and Rayan Rosell are from the academies at South Mountain and Cesar Chavez. Brisa is in Pharmacy Support Services program and is currently in an internship with Haven Health, preparing to graduate in May and begin her career in pharmaceuticals. Rayan is our software and app design program and is a Phoenix Union student worker, earning real dollars while in school, repairing student computers. Rayan started his own business building websites and mobile apps. You know, I highlight these students to show you the faces of the impact our programs have on students and want to thank all the teachers, educators, and mentors who make our CTE programs the hub for innovation that our students deserve. Next, we turn our attention to National School Counselors Week. And this week and every week, we should celebrate our counselors who tirelessly work to serve our students and help them live to their fullest potential. Without our counselors, our students would not know the scholarship opportunities, college and career pathways, a financial aid opportunity, and so much more. Thank you, Phoenix Union counselors. Speaking of their success, let's turn to FAFSA. In Phoenix Union, we make every effort to ensure that all our students receive the funds they deserve to thrive after high school in the education institution of their choice. Phoenix Union decided to participate in a statewide goal of 50% of our students completing the FAFSA by the end of the fall semester. 46 of the 177 participating high schools reached this goal across the state. I am so proud to share with you that of the 46, 9 were right here in Phoenix Union. That's nearly 20%. I want to give a quick shout out to Wilson College Prep for reaching 100% FAFSA completion and for being the top performing high school in the entire state. Bioscience, Coding, Central, Metro, PXU City, Franklin, Camelback, and Fairfax all reached the 50% threshold. You saw on tonight's consent, the Arizona Board of Regents, the financial incentive that is given to each of these schools. I just want to say great job, counselors. You never gave up, administrators, educators, anyone that was involved in supporting our students in their FAFSA completion. Thank you. Next, I want to celebrate a couple of our scholars who are finalists for the prestigious and competitive Flynn Scholarship. Michelle Luna and Charlotte William Gross from Maryville, GTA, and North High School will soon learn if they will receive this lucrative financial aid package. So here's the deal with the Flynn Scholarship. 1,150 applicants from across the state of Arizona. About 79 of them make it to semifinals. And only 37 make it to the finals. So our 2 are in the finals for the scholarship. This scholarship provides $135,000 over 8 semesters to pay tuition, books, food, housing at Arizona State, Northern Arizona, or U of A. Only about 20 winners are chosen each year. It's about a 50% shot for these girls at this point, and I am rooting for these 2, and hopefully very soon we'll be bringing them back to celebrate their winning this incredible scholarship. All the luck to both of them. Our next story is a follow-up from last year where we shared that a Betty Fairfax High School student, Leslie Riscone, had her artwork chosen to appear on the Valley Metro buses across the valley. Well, if you've been driving around Phoenix, you may have seen her bus driving through the streets. We did see it, and so proud. Congratulations, Leslie and Betty Fairfax. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Next, I'm excited to share some news about the Upward and Onward program, Market on the Move. This opportunity was spearheaded by our passionate educators who oversee the program that provides internship hours to our students while they learn workplace skills. Students earn hours by providing low-cost, high-quality food to the south side of the district. Students learn to count money, to give change, and with high standards for customer service, all while loading cars with purchased food. They work in teams to create food boxes that are provided in exchange for a $10 donation. Great job, onward and upward. And thank you personally to Ms. Carly Bacha and Mr. Ty Woolley for providing this experience for our kids. All right, turning our focus to the Pride of the West Side. Last Saturday, several student artists from Maryville High School teamed up with a local artist to create a collaborative mural that is being displayed at the Phoenix Art Museum. The artwork is focused on the unique and beautiful culture in Maryville and is being displayed this month in partnership with the Phoenix Art Museum and the Men's Art Council. Great job, Maryville. Sticking with Maryville, if you haven't been watching the news, or if you have, you've undoubtedly seen the Maryville senior Adrian Stubbs, who in the game last month shattered the Arizona State scoring record by putting up 100 points in a single game. Not only did he give the 100 points, but he also did it in 3 quarters. Of course, we've invited him twice now to be honored at the board meeting, but yeah, he's postponing again. Yeah, he's famous. Actually, they're in the midst of the playoffs, so we're hoping he will come in March because they are playing a game tonight. But I wanted to make sure I gave them a shout out this evening for putting Maryville basketball on the map. Adrian also gets to be honored on the House floor at the Arizona Capitol on April 12th. All right, let's turn our attention to Camelback Montessori College Prep and a celebration of a teacher, Mr. Dustin Thomas, as a recipient of the KTAR Pay Tribute to a Teacher Award, a monthly recognition honoring exceptional educators across Arizona, and it comes with a $2,500 prize. Mr. Thomas is a math teacher who just goes above and beyond in his classroom to ensure his students are safe, fed, and working together. He works together on an overnight air-kindred nature trips by planning meals for 50 to 60 students and assigning roles that sustain community. Beyond academics, he sponsors Montessori Club, leads Montessori Olympics, joins students on the football field for ultimate frisbee, and creates fundraising opportunities so that all students can participate in off-campus field studies. His dedication reflects the heart of this award. Thank you for all you do, and congratulations, Mr. Thomas. Recently, the Arizona Cardinals hosted their first Civics Summit, and Phoenix Union was in full force with 160 students from 5 campuses: Bioscience, Metro, Camelback, Maryville, and PXU City. Through their participation in the Civics Summit, students were able to meet the requirements for a Seal of Civics. Students and staff heard from the Arizona Cardinals offensive lineman Kevin Beecham, Cardinals owner Mike Bidwell, Arizona Secretary of State Adrian Fontes, and U.S. Congressman Juan Cisamani. Over 5,000 students from across the state attended this event, and our students and staff came away with some unforgettable experiences. Congratulations. In late January, 23 students from Maryville GTA AP Government class and Law Club traveled to the Sandra Day O'Connor United States Courthouse, home to the United States District Court for the District of Arizona. After the tour of the building, they attended a sentencing hearing and a status conference in Judge Humatewa's courtroom. After the hearing, students spoke with their judge and other members of the court about what they had experienced. Our students asked intelligent and researched questions of all the parties involved and represented Maryville with pride. It was an amazing experience. Thank you, Ms. Anne Marie Shanahan, for providing this experience to our students. On January 29th, Carl Hayden senior basketball player Prince Cash, what a cool name that is, Prince Cash, I love it, had a real cool opportunity to sit down and actually interview Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs. Some of the topics included serious stuff like how the governor plans to support high school students with their futures. And also another really important question of if she could pick one food to eat for the rest of her life, what would it be? And of course, she was wise and chose pepperoni pizza. This was part of the African American State of the Senate event, and members of the basketball team were invited to the floor where they were greeted by our very own state representative and governing board member, Aaron Marquez. Great job, Prince, and we're so proud of you and the Carl Hayden basketball team. Way to represent Phoenix Union. Our next story is super amazing as two Central High School culinary students, along with their instructor, competed in the Blue Watermelon Project and earned second place, winning $5,000 total toward their education expenses. They did an incredible job representing the program and our food service overall. For the winning product, the team developed a healthy, well-balanced meal aligned with the USDA nutrition guidelines and showcased professionalism from the start to the finish. I'm so proud of them. Congratulations, and thank you for representing our district in such a professional way. Our next story is about Phoenix Coding Academy. They recently competed in the Congressional App Challenge put on by Congresswoman Ansari's office. And this was a hat trick. It was a three-peat. It was the third time the Code Academy walked away with the award. The team from Code competed against hundreds of entries in this challenge to develop an innovative mobile app. The Pythons created a web-based app that helps patients navigate medical referrals and schedule appointments. Congratulations, Phoenix Coding Academy, for making the world a better place. All right. Our final story this evening is about Youth in Government Conference, one that you approved some time ago, and a proud member of our Superintendent Advisory Council. At this conference, PXU City Senior and Advisory Council member Olivia Grijalva decided to run for office. In order to run, applicants are required to go through an interview process and must campaign throughout the entire conference. They have to prepare and deliver a speech at the governor's ball the night before voting. And only 5 students from hundreds that participate are actually elected into these leadership roles. Well, Olivia, and if you've met her, you know she knows how to campaign. Olivia campaigned all weekend and became a fan favorite. I'm so proud of her. We are so proud of her and this accomplishment. She will serve as Secretary of State in the 2026 Youth in Government Conference. Congratulations, Olivia. This concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Andrade. I just want to uplift one more time the Maryville basketball team. A few weeks ago, I had the honor of actually personally presenting them the golden coins and meeting the students. And I just want to say, I know that this has been, excuse my language, one hell of a year for all of our schools, particularly true for Maryville. And I want to say this much about Maryville. With those boys and everything, as an 8th grade teacher, I've had the privilege of asking my students, where would you like to go to high school? Because of those boys and the records that they're making, many of my 8th grade students say, I want to be just like them. I want to go to Maryville. So congratulations, Maryville team. Thank you for making history for the state of Arizona. And as well as Carl Hayden. What a cool name, Prince. Name of my favorite musician. Awesome. All right, the next item is 7A, progress monitoring and interim goals with potential action. Ms. Andrade.
Thank you, President. Members, tonight we're going to take a look at our mid-year progress in math and reading for our 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. And while all groups grew in progress, I want to call out 2 in particular. I'm extremely proud of our 9th grade growth and our math results especially. Walking you through the progress results tonight is Chief Tejas and Executive Director Tony Camp.
Well, thank you, Ms. Andrade, and good evening, President Pastor Rivera, governing board members, and our Phoenix Union community. As Ms. Andrade mentioned, tonight is going to be our second progress monitoring on goals 2 and 3, reading and math, respectively. As we get started, we just wanted to take a moment and remind the public about the board goal that was adopted early this school year for reading. And here are the interim goals that support this. Again, these are what are the outcomes and then the outputs that we're going to know in the midst of the cycle. These were adopted in October of this year. Just a quick reminder, these goals are built on NWEA, which is the closest thing that we have to monitoring how students will actually perform on the ACT exams that are state required for our freshmen and for our juniors. Our goal is to predict, based on a RIT score, how closely our students will come to scoring a 19 or higher on the ACT as juniors. You ready to take a look and see how they performed? So this is measuring from from fall until winter. So here you'll have an opportunity to see how our ninth graders who are in red, the goal was 25%, scoring a 226 or more on the NWEA. You can see that we exceeded this goal. Our sophomores are in blue, and although they're growing, we are currently at 24% of this group, exceeding a score of 229. And our juniors in yellow fell just short of that 25% goal with a rate of 24. Now, just a reminder, our ACT tests are in March, and so our juniors will have an opportunity to test in March, and we're hopeful with some extra time and supports that we will meet or exceed that goal 3 for this current school year. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tony Camp, the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning. He's going to take us through interim goal 3 related to math, and also share a little bit about how we're going to prepare our students for those ACT tests that are coming up. So, Mr. Camp.
Thank you, Ms. Tejas. Good evening, President Pastor Rivera, board members, Ms. Andrade, and our community. I'm happy to take us through board goal number 3, which is on the ACT math. You have that in front of you and on the screen. It is to increase our proficiency rate of our juniors from 14 to 16% this July. Just like with the reading goal, we also have interim goals for math that were approved in the fall, and you see these on the screen. Ms. Tejas did remind us of that NWEA RIT score, target RIT score for each of those grade levels, and you see them up on the screen there. Let's see how we are doing with these outputs in the midst of our annual cycle for this year. And so just as set up for reading, you see interim measure 3.1, that's for our 9th graders. We've actually exceeded the target goal so far in the winter testing. In the fall testing, they were at 13%. There's a 10% increase of our freshmen, our 9th graders, at 23%. For our 10th graders, we actually have also exceeded that target goal for the winter testing, a 10% increase from the fall at 26%. And then for our juniors, we started the fall at 22% and a 9% increase at 31%. Again, these are the percentages of students that have reached that target RIT score as a predictor for our overall goal. These results show consistent performance at the 3 grade levels, with particularly strong performance among 11th graders. This indicates the current instructional routines and practices in our math classes are effectively supporting students' growth. I'd really love to give a kudos out to our math teachers tonight, as well as our math collaborative teams, and the growth mindset of our campus administrators, our math instructional leaders, and our content specialists maintain and exhibit with respect to building systems for students to gain confidence in math. The fruits of their labor are showing great interim results, and it's important to share that our math teachers, their collaborative teams, and departments have been working on this effective curriculum and instruction years before we started our journey of providing a guaranteed and viable curriculum across all our courses. With these positive results, we will continue to analyze data of growth or decline in students and review anomalies in testing conditions that may impact accuracy of student outcomes. This work and these outcomes are coupled with the understanding that we need to increase communication with our families and our students themselves about student academic achievement and the added value of progress monitoring. This includes that student-centered self-efficacy we spoke of in the retreat, of understanding NWEA, what it's for, and setting goals toward improving their growth. It's not about getting the highest score on NWEA. It's about showing the true growth of what they've learned, what they understand, and that they can show evidence of growth towards proficiency. As we close this presentation out tonight, I would just like to leave the board and the community with this reminder to explain the differences again between the ACT and the NWEA. I'd just like to walk through a typical testing cycle of ACT on that very day. So our students come in the morning, our juniors sit down, and they start the English test. This is 35 minutes with 50 questions. They then move right into the math test. This is 50 minutes long with 45 questions. Followed by math, and maybe a little break for some sustenance. They go right into reading. 40-minute test with 36 questions. After reading, they take science for another 40 minutes with 40 questions. And then finally, the last portion of the test, where I'm just exhausted thinking about it, is the writing test, where they have 40 minutes to answer one essay prompt. Being exhausted, they also must provide a substantive answer, which means they need to actually answer the prompt in their writing sample. Unlike the ACT, our NWEA interim benchmarks, they're untimed. We've talked many times about the adaptability of that content for the student, meeting them where they are and pushing them to the next level. And each of those are typically 45 minutes or less, and those students have multiple opportunities. And so I'd like to close with a timely analogy that Cinto Ramos uses when he talks about it. We actually have an NFL championship game coming this Sunday. And so just like a championship game, getting there, it's the season games that get them there, right? Our interim measures with NWEA, it's like those traditional season games. During the midst of that cycle, and every game includes the teaching and assessing cycle with feedback. The championship game, which is the ACT coming up in March, there are so many variables for this high-stake test. Our campus leaders and teachers continue to see and work on preparation for that ACT, mirroring those conditions of the ACT test and the content and skills necessary to win the championship with their growth and the growth of PXU. And so at this time, I'd like to turn it back over to the Governing Board, President Pastor Rivera, for any discussions and questions. Thank you.
Board Member Cross.
My, sorry. My one concern is the timing of ACT. Thank you. I know our students have a real hard time with sitting still for any length of time. Bless their little hearts. Are we practicing that along with, I mean, because that to me is almost more concerning just from being in the classroom. I mean, so the NWEA is not timed, but the ACT is. Are they aware of that? Are the students aware of that? Do they know that's coming? And are we able to, when we're doing the NWEA, do some timing practices?
President Pastor Rivera and Board Member Cross, thank you for the question. Yes, this is something that the students are aware of. It's something that we practice with them. We do have the opportunity and encourage our students to attend boot camps. They also practice with tests that they may have had in the past but are not current exams, where they have the opportunity to come in and practice. It's really building the stamina, frankly, to be able to manage that process. They also learn test-taking techniques, like how do you make your best guess, right? Because it is timed, and you want to be able to move through the process quickly. I know that our English and math teachers also make an effort to have their lessons and some of the activities in their classes correspond to the testing conditions that they'll be experiencing.
Any other, oh, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Representative Marquez.
Yeah. To that point, President Rivera, with the boot camps and the testing that happens during the instructional day, is that just the NWEA and the RIT testing, or is there actual timed practice test on real ACTs that they're doing during the instructional day, or do they have to sign up for something after school or on the weekend during the boot camps?
President Pastor Rivera and Member Marquez, thank you for the question. So typically those longer practices will take place after school or on the weekends, and it is something that students need to let us know they're coming for so that we can be prepared. I know our counselors and our teachers do an excellent job of making the students aware of the opportunities to participate in the boot camps. We also offer additional opportunities for example, this current group of sophomores as they move through the summer to have some additional experiences and exposure to what would mirror the type of environment that they're going to experience with ACT.
President Rivera, yeah, so moving forward for this school year or for next school year, would it be possible to, is there a feasible amount of time in a school year and day for them to actually take the practice test, every single student, not just the ones that opt into taking the practice test? I don't know if once a quarter is too much, or once a semester, but it seems like the real practice test is where there's the opportunity to improve those test scores as quickly as possible in my study and experience of these types of standardized testing.
President Pastor Rivera and Member Marquez, happy to take a look at that. Thank you.
Board Member Cross.
So are we keeping track of the number of kids that are going to the boot camp? And what incentives are we doing for students that are not showing up to that to get them there?
President Pastor Rivera and Member Cross, thank you for the question. Yes, we do have data on the number of students that attend those camps. Thank you for the question around incentives. Our kids do a lot of things for food, so I'll say when we feed them at the camps, they're more than happy to come, but if there are other incentives, sometimes our partners are really good about contributing different things that we can give as giveaways at those types of activities, and so we'll continue to lean on our partners to help us with those.
Any further discussions? Oh.
Just a
Member
general
Napa.
question. I know that the goals centered around test scores didn't sit well with certain faculty and community members. And these boot camps and the preparations, how much time does that take away from actual instruction?
President Pastor Rivera and Member Napa, thank you for the question. In terms of the test scores, we certainly seek feedback, as you all have as well in the community listening sessions. Our teams have spent quite a bit of time looking at what we think is feasible and doable. As you know, it's a big lift to even move incrementally by small percentages, and our goal as a system is to lift that percentage over time to be much higher. I think also part of that is working on the professional development to build the efficacy and capacity of our teachers to feel comfortable in offering those test prep opportunities. And I think in terms of the additional opportunities around building that up for our teachers to have the opportunities and to have the exposure to some of the test materials, I think that we will continue to look at opportunities and partnerships to make those available for our teachers.
Board Member Cross and then Clerk Meyer.
This is my last one, I promise. I'm excited about mid-year progress results. Thank you very much. And thank you for our teachers. Thank you.
Clerk Meyer.
Just some more clarity on what Member Napa was asking. So regarding boot camps, when do they happen? Is it during the instructional day, or is it more like a Saturday school or after school thing? I missed the part where it takes away from instruction or not.
President Pastor Rivera, Clerk Meyer, thank you for the question. In terms of instructional time, it's a really delicate balance that teachers try to navigate, not just those practice opportunities in their class, which, by the way, our class periods are 50 minutes, and so each content tries to incorporate those practice tests, timed writing by English teachers, so on and so forth, our math teachers, even our science teachers. But the ACT boot camps, because that practice of all of the components of the test takes so long, they're typically on our Saturdays to try and not take too much instructional time, because our teachers not only trying to balance that, all of those skills that it takes to take the test, but also their essential standards that they have in their curriculum to teach.
And if I could just add, we do offer our teachers opportunities to be paid outside of the professional day to help develop the curriculum and the experiences for the boot camps. And just to reemphasize what Mr. Camp just shared, because we have spent so much time with the essential standards, developing our guaranteed and viable curriculum, those are aligned to the ACT standards, and that's part of what we'll be able to assess over time.
Okay, thank you.
Superintendent Andrade.
Yes, thank you, President Pastor Rivera. I first of all want to kind of pause here and just recognize the hard work of our teachers for moving the needle at that rate in math and reading in just one semester. technically, yeah, because I think they gave the test in December. And most of their instructional time, I'll be very honest, is teaching the standards. And I welcome any of you to walk math classrooms with me or English classrooms. They are teaching and engaging the standards, and it's very impressive. Where the rub will come in is they know the material, or 25, I'm confident that many know the material, especially by their junior year, because a lot of that test is covered freshman, sophomore content. Whether or not they can do it in the amount of time that is regulated by ACT is going to lower what you saw tonight. So you may see 25% growth at a 19, but that might actually only show up in ACT as a 16%. It's going to be lower because of the timed factor. And at the end of the day, we just, it's a push-pull. Can our students do it? Absolutely they can. I'm not going to lower the bar. But then you ask yourself that question, how important is it that you know this in 40 minutes? Or how important is it that you just know it? That's just a struggle that we all have, but these are the goals that we've adopted, and the charge will move forward. I do agree in the first year, there's a lot of development that still needs to be done. There are ACT practice booklets that each junior can get. We've seen our principals report out on their data, and they can take that junior class and unpack that data and really start to strategically do interventions with their juniors around ACT. You see the juniors, Camelback's got, I don't know how many books in their library, ACT practice assessments available for kids that want to take them home. So we will increase those opportunities because I do think the rub at this point is the tick, 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 the timer, the setting and the stamina of back to back to back to back. But I do want to pause and make sure our teachers are recognized, because students know more than when they came in at the start of the semester, and that's the right direction. We can do better than 25%. I know we can, and we will get there. So thank you.
Thank you. The next item is 9H, approval of reduction in force list for the 2026-2027 school year. Ms. Andrade.
Okay, thank you, President Pastor Rivera. Tonight, unfortunately, we have to present the reduction in force names as part of the process to you for our admin, classified, and certified employee groups. I also want you to keep in mind this list has reduced significantly, but every name counts. And the process for placement of several of these names is still underway, is still being worked through, as I imagine it will be the entire semester, reducing the list further and further. But to walk you through where we started with this process and where we are today, and then of course anticipated placements in the spring, I turn it over to Dr. Althea Allen.
Good evening, President Pastor Rivera, Clerk Meyer, Governing Board members. As Superintendent Andrade said, as required, we brought to you in December the preliminary reduction in force positions. And tonight's item is the reduction in force list, including names. We also included for you tonight a very brief summary of the placement process. But before we go over those numbers, I did want to acknowledge that throughout all of this, we have impacted people. These are our PXU employees who have made many contributions to our community. I think sometimes it seems like when we present numbers or data or processes and procedures that we lose sight of who or what they represent, and we haven't. I definitely did not want us to lose sight of the people who have been impacted by the RIF process tonight. Next slide, please. Of all the positions that we identified in December, as you can see here, there were just over 41 positions that were already vacant. So we had 128 people who were going to be impacted throughout this process. Since December, we have had resignations and retirements, which decreased the number of people impacted by the RIF process. Once we issued preliminary RIF notices, based on the rules in each professional agreement, Employees had the opportunity to notify talent of other positions that they felt that they would be qualified for. That assisted us in the placement of over 70 employees, as you can see from the data on the next slide. So you can see by working group how many people to date have been placed in positions. And again, that represents just over 70. And then lastly, next slide, please. I just want to remind everyone that this is an extremely fluid process, as Superintendent Andrade mentioned earlier. Placements are happening daily. Interviews are happening as we try to secure as many positions as possible for our staff. And although there will be continued movement and there will be continued opportunities, and some people on that list tonight will be placed, I do want to again acknowledge that the impact was great. Even if you are placed in a new job, it's a new job. And I definitely want to acknowledge the people who are affected, listed on this RIF list tonight. Any questions?
Any questions, colleagues?
More of a commentary than question. Thank you. In the time that we've been going through this whole RIF process, many of our staff have reached out to, I'm sure all of us, to make sure that we're being intentional and considerate and more than anything respectful and provide dignity to all who are impacted by this. I want to say to those people that are ultimately impacted, we will do all we can do with the constraints that are put upon us to meet budget and keep all of our doors open as much as we can. And we do not take this lightly, that anybody is being affected. This is some part of what I do in my private life, and I have to always make sure that, you know, my humanity remains when I'm impacting and affecting people's lives every single day. So I say to the superintendent and the district staff, though I know we're being intentional, where you can be transparent, I guide you to do so, because, you know, people are questioning, you know, every single thing that's happening, every single time. Clarify, make sure you're clarifying, you know, how those selections were made, and be mindful that, you know, though I understand what you have to do to make this process work, everybody doesn't get it and understand it. So I know that this is hard work. I know this is difficult, but as much as we can be transparent and clarify how we make the selections, I think that will go a long way. People impacted, you know, are gonna feel the way they feel, and you know, absolutely, we get it. But if you explain to adults how it's happening and eliminate any spectacle of secrecy, it's more acceptable. That's it.
Thank you, Board Member Oliver. So, is there a motion to approve item 9H as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Perfect. Motion has been made by Board Member Oliver and seconded by Clerk Meyer. Is there any discussion? All right. I think we're going to do a roll call vote, and I'll also allow for you guys to explain your vote. Should you find if you guys think it's necessary, I'll allow it for 2 minutes. How's that? All right. Board Member Cross.
I vote aye on this. It's hard. I have friends on this list. And I think at this time, this is what we have to do. I don't know what else to say except I'm doing what I think is best for the district at this point.
Representative Marquez.
Present.
Clerk Meyer.
Aye.
Board Member Napa.
Aye.
Oliver.
Aye.
And myself as an aye. Motion carries. The next item is 9M, approval of recommended list for eliminating positions and issuance of preliminary notification of reduction in force letters. Ms. Andrade.
Thank you, President Pastor Rivera, members. This feels like a rinse repeat a little bit. It's a preliminary RIF of positions, not names. And I just want to be absolutely clear, it is separate and aside from the budget cuts. This could have happened in any given year, even without budget cuts. And I want to provide the context because there's two different groups here. The first comes with Betty Fairfax as they prepare and are ready to transition to the academies model, which requires APs to shift to academy leaders. And this has been done in the past with other academy schools where they RIF the APs and they reapply as academy leaders. So Betty Fairfax will be posting and interviewing for these academy leader positions. Second on this list is counselors. Due to declining enrollment and particularly at a few schools in particular, and keeping as tight as possible with our staffing model of 325 to 1 for counselors, the following schools had counseling reductions: Alhambra, Central, North, and Trevor. And again, this is right sizing the ratios to 325 to 1. If this is approved tonight, we will move forward and start to look at the RIF rubric and identify the people and move forward with the next stage. But again, this is step 1 in preliminary RIF for tonight. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve item 9M as presented?
So moved.
And I will second it. So a motion has been made by Board Member Oliver and seconded by myself. Is there any discussion? Clerk Meyer.
Yes, I have a couple of questions for Superintendent Andrade. It's more so for the public to understand, since I've asked a lot of these questions to you and the board members, we each have in different ways, or it might be up to Dr. Allen. So the first question I have is if you can clarify to the public about how the RIF process works in terms of releasing names. So my understanding is that the board needs to approve the positions themselves, and then it would be the staff names. Is that correct?
Thank you for the question, President Pastor Rivera, Clerk Meyer, board members. Yes, you are correct. Just as you did in December for the reduction in force for the budget shortfall, you have to first approve the positions, and then we identify the people, and we bring the list of names to you. We will do that next month.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question is also regarding the counselor list specifically. So you and Ms. Andrade has explained this to me before, but could you explain to the public about the difference between like why these roles are up for elimination versus for surplus, just for them to understand what that process looks like?
Thank you, President Pastor Rivera, Clerk Meyer, governing board members. So every year we do staffing, we do fall staffing and we do spring staffing. And that, I think as was mentioned earlier, is to right-size the caseloads, even for classrooms, to make sure that the loads and we have appropriate staff. In the past, fortunately, we've been able to, when there is a surplus, there have been vacancies for people to move. So let's say there was a surplus at a campus in English, another campus may have a vacancy or room, and the person gets moved. This year, with the counseling, as Superintendent Andrade said, because of the ratios and enrollment decline, we have a surplus, and that was identified in the fall. Because there aren't any counselor vacancies to move all of those individuals into, that surplus then becomes a RIF. And then the RIF process kicks in. And we cannot use seniority, as you know, by state law to place people as a result of RIF.
I do want to just jump in for a second. There are a few openings across the district. Again, though, all the positions be RIF'd, and then there'll be at least 2 that I can think of, or maybe there's more, that those will be interviewed for. Okay.
Thank you, President Pastor Rivera, Clerk Meyer, and board members. Currently, there are 2 vacancies in the district for counselors. So the counselors who are identified from the surplus to become a RIF, the way we do that is at each site where there is a surplus, we run those counselors through the rubric. Those counselors who are identified through the rubric to be on the surplus or on the RIF list will then go onto the list. The top scoring individuals out of that pool will be placed in those 2, have the opportunity to be placed in those 2 vacancies. If someone declines, it goes to the next person on that list. If there was a tie, let's say there was a tie score between individuals, then there would be an interview process.
Thank you. And then just to address a public comment, the same process, what's happening right now that you described for counselors would also happen if it was another subject such as English, correct?
Thank you, President Pastor Rivera, Clerk Meyer. Yes, if we were in a situation where with any other content area, there was a surplus identified that had to lead to a RIF where there were no positions available or very few, then it would follow the same process by school. We would identify those individuals and then it would go into the RIF. It would not be district-wide and placed by seniority. That can't happen in a RIF process.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
Same process as the last vote. We're going to do a roll call vote, and if you need the time, 2 minutes to explain your vote. Board Member Cross.
Aye.
Representative Marquez.
Aye.
Clerk Meyer.
Aye, and I'll explain my vote.
Of course.
So I came to Superintendent Andrade with a lot of questions regarding counselors because I reflected a lot on my time as a student at North and how I had a more specialized counselor and how just like I wish that there was just more counselors available for students, but Superintendent Andrade has reassured me that we have one of the lowest ratios of students to counselors per within the public school system, which has helped me understand more of this process and just the reality that we have to cut positions because of the lack of federal funding that's really allocated, federal and state funding to our Arizona public schools. So despite me personally really wanting more individualized attention for students, a smaller ratio, the reality is that we have constraints on us, budgetary constraints, and this is just the beginning of hard, or just these couple of stages have just been the beginning of hard conversations and what we have to look at as our enrollment number declines and as the Arizona model is the money follows the student. So I have to vote yes to maintain a fiscally responsible district, even though my values and morals would want otherwise. So thank you.
Board Member Napa.
Abstain.
Board Member Oliver.
Aye, and I'm going to explain.
Of course.
Just as I stated before, all of those things, but also I want to make sure that the public knows that I believe that the best counselors should be serving our students, and I too remember when Jesus was walking the earth, when I had a counselor. If our counselors are not, because we are affecting or impacting some counselors and we can't use, seniority, that sort of thing. We have been having discussions about, counselors not being responsive to students. I want counselors to be held accountable if they are not responding to our students, because that's their job. And I get that the ratios seem high, but if those are some of the best in the state, okay. But I need the counselors to be responsive and help our students, because 4 counselors are potentially gonna, be riffed. 2 may be retained, but they have to be held accountable to make sure that they're serving the needs of our students. And for that reason, I vote aye.
I'll explain my vote. This is a tough vote, obviously, for myself as well. It is an unfortunate reality that we are being forced to make these decisions from outside forces. Arizona, as we know, obviously follows the dollar to student ratio, and Phoenix Union has been unfortunately impacted by that. But this vote, for the most part, continues to keep our schools functioning and open for our students. Continues to be a safe space for our students. And with that being said, I vote aye. Motion carries. The next item is 12B, approval of proposed calendar of governing board retreats and study sessions for 2026. Ms. Andrade.
Thank you, President Pastor Rivera. Members, at our last retreat at the end of January, we discussed options with respect to how we do board retreats, the times, the frequency, as well as adding study sessions more regularly when you're already coming to the district office, respecting that many of you have jobs and busy lives, and so we want to make this as convenient as possible. You are the board, and you decide when you're going to come together. So tonight, after listening to your feedback at the retreat, we present and recommend the following schedule. You'll see in the attachment for 2026. But I do want to kind of keep in mind, as always, if the need should arise, based on discussion, based on a topic, based on what's going on in the community, it could various reasons. We can always add additional sessions if it is deemed necessary. And with that, we present the calendar to you.
Is there a motion to approve item 12B as
So moved.
presented?
Motion.
Perfect. The motion has been made by Representative Marquez and seconded by Board Member Napa. Is there any discussion? Clerk Meyer.
Yes, quick clarifying question. How long in advance, like let's say, looking at the calendar, the next board retreat and the only one for the rest of the year is September 18th. Let's say we or someone decided, oh, we could benefit from having a board retreat early in the year. What would that process look like? Would we, like, in terms of the president setting that for us?
I could work with individual board members to see which date they prefer, which times they prefer, and then take that information together and recommend some choices for President Pastor Rivera. And then really at that point, it's just about providing ample public notice and posting the agenda and making sure our community knows when those are. I like to give it about a week before, so it's really as easy as that. And that
Okay, thank you.
discussion can start hopefully in public so that I don't have to go to 7 of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
On the motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, please indicate by saying nay. Motion carries. All right, next item is 12C, approval of revised governing board of policy BEDB agenda on first reading. Ms. Andrade.
President Rivera, can we combine items 12, C, D, and E?
C, D, and E, okay. A motion has been made by Representative Marquez to combine items 12, C, D, and E. Is there a second?
I second.
It's seconded, okay. It's seconded by Board Member Napa. Is there any discussion?
Wait 1 second as I review stuff. Which ones were the ones that we said?
C, D, and E.
C, D, E, okay.
And it's not, the motion is not to approve them right now, but just to combine them.
Okay, yeah, we can combine. Oh, sorry.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Perfect, motion carries. All right, Ms. Andrade, go ahead.
Okay, I'll take them one at a time. Policy BEDB has had a lot of discussion from this board, and at the end of the day, President Pastor Rivera chose to prioritize our students by bringing them up in the agenda so that they can get home after this board meeting because they have school in the morning, and keeping call to the public where it currently is. BEDH, which is the second policy we looked at, it is redlined for you, but really that's just a little bit of wordsmithing. Citizens was replaced with community members or the word individuals. It allows for online public speaking, which has been the practice, but now the policy matches the practice. And then FF is around the naming of facilities. Again, it came from ASBA originally, where it had some pretty tight constraints around not so much naming of the facility, but if you were going to name it after a person or an individual, they wanted the person, they had parameters for them to have been deceased for so many years. And we just felt like ASBA is not the boss of us. We can decide. Linda Abril is alive and well, and so is her academy. So again, we just kind of changed that language a little bit just to give that broader discretion. If we believe it's a significant contribution to the community, et cetera, then we can move forward with the naming of our own facilities. I don't know if there's any discussion for if it is an individual, did you want to add something in there about a board vote? Because that's a pretty big deal to name a facility after a person. Typically, the naming of facilities in the past has gone through the district, and what that means, the district is probably me, my executive team, and they decide on the name of the building moving forward. But that policy, this is a first read, and we can make a recommendation to the board, and the board can ultimately vote on that if we want to add that into the policy, or if you just want to do that for individuals, naming after individuals, or not at all, or it's really, it's your policy. It's up to you all as a board. But again, we tried to make it as vague as possible so that we had the latitude to do what we wanted with our facility. Obviously, it goes without say that we would engage our community in this, get a pulse on the community, and have certain standards and engage the board as well in listening sessions around that. But I'll leave that space there for any opportunity that you want us to go back and look at or leave as is during the first read. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to approve items 12C, 12D, and 12E as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made by Representative Marquez and seconded by Clerk Meyer. Is there any discussion?
Question. That's not including E? We're not including E in this vote, correct? Oh, we are?
Yep.
Oh.
12C,
Well, then I
D,
have a-
and E, all combined.
So I would like to, President Pastor Rivera, I would like to say on the naming of the facility, I would like to see a finalization of a board approval on that after it's been presented to the community and the school and the district as a whole.
President Pastor Rivera.
Go ahead.
I'd be willing to amend the motion to include that direction from Board Member Cross to staff to bring back for the second reading.
All right.
And just to clarify, is that for all naming or only names after individuals? Just so we can make sure.
All namings?
All names. Okay, thank you.
You have to accept my.
I also accept the amendment.
Oh, okay, so I can continue moving forward? All right, is there a motion to approve, is there a motion to approve item 12C, 12D, and 12E? Or
So
excuse me.
we've already had the motion, so the
Okay.
motion is to approve as presented except for item 12E, and it's the direction in the motion to direct administration to, when they bring it back, to include board approval of any naming recommendations.
That. That. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda is item 13A, next meeting. The next regular meeting of the governing board and organizational meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 5th, 2026 at approximately 6 p.m. Excuse me.
It is
Oh,
not
excuse
an organizational meeting, it's just a
Perfect,
regular
okay,
meeting.
that's what I have on the script. My apologies.
That's okay.
All right, excuse me. The next item is for information only, no action required. Recipient of revised governing board regulation, EBR, Environmental and Safety Program. This item is informational only, and though no action is required, receipt of governing board regulation, EBR, is acknowledged. Perfect. All right, now we can begin. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Item 13A, next meeting. The next regular meeting of the governing board is scheduled for Thursday, March 5th, 2026 at approximately 6 p.m. Next item on the agenda, item 13B, request for future agenda items. Members, are there any items you would like to recommend to be considered for future board meeting agendas? Board Member Napa?
Regarding the public comment and the absent and appointed board member who tried to embarrass this board a few months ago by implying we couldn't take our licks, is there a censure process for school boards when members have engaged in misconduct or antithetical acts?
I have also asked legal. Legal, please have the.
We cannot answer that right now because it's not on the agenda, but we will be prepared to answer it at the next board meeting.
Perfect, thank you. Is there any other future requests? Representative Marquez.
Yes, President Pastor Rivera. I guess after hearing public comment, I'll be more direct. I would request an action item for the next board meeting for a formal censure of the board member. That's my request.
Perfect. All right. Any other future requests? Going once, going twice. All right. Item 13C, motion to adjourn. Having concluded our business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, a motion to adjourn has been made by Board Member Oliver and seconded by Clerk Meyer. On the motion, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now adjourned.